listening to the Pittsburgh Piledriver
What the hell is that?
Podcast.
Another week has come and gone, which means it's time for another recording of the Pittsburgh Piledriver Podcast. I don't know about you, but I enjoy my Thursday nights talking wrestling, talking jiggery pokery, making fun of people, arguing about things. It's a good time. It's a good release.
Let me
It's a
stop
good
you
way
right
to-
there, Ransom. I'm gonna let you
Okay.
finish, but I got this to say. Pat,
Okay.
Shannon, mid-card maniac, listen up, Buttercup.
We're coming in hot.
You tried to you shut up. This is my time to speak with the fucking maniac. I'll let Ransom finish his spiel. We'll be able to talk wrestling and Tim. We'll be happy friends. But Pat, you son of a bitch. You son of a bitch. You tried to juke us. You tried to juke the stats. But the problem is, you're an idiot.
Wow.
I continue. You need to check the copyright dates on those articles you read to find these questions out, boy. Because we were right. It was Cena and Orton. And yes, Bret Hart was in there. So we were right, but also wrong. You were wrong, but also right. Here's the difference. Ties, go to the defender. We're the champs. We're defenders. You're nothing. Figure it out. There's no dispute. There's no appearance. Pat Shannon, you raccoon-headed motherfucker, you get nothing. Start the damn show. Ransom, continue your
You
stuff.
fucking raccoon pelt-headed piece of shit.
Oh my word. Yeah, so it's Thursday. We do things. What the heck was I going to even say? Oh, this is kind of funny after Beef's little tirade there. This is always for me a nice way to round out my week, to end the week. You know, I get to hang out with my buds. We get to talk wrestling. I get to enjoy a nice therapeutic end to my week. You get one more work day after Thursdays after we record, and then it's a nice little break. Beef's all wound up, though. I'm winding down. Beef's all wound up. Apparently, Pat, you need to start carbon dating your articles a little bit, because I think you referenced an article from 2014. In such time, John Cena and Randall Keith Orton seem to have surpassed, or at least tied, Bret Hart. So, yeah, just a little suggestion. I'm not telling anybody how to submit their Stump the Chumps questions. I'm not. By all means, I'm not. We barely get any as it is. We have a few faithfuls. We've got Pat. We've got Ryuk, the faithfuls that seem to send in questions on a regular basis. I'm not telling anybody how to submit your questions. You submit them how you submit them. I appreciate you doing so. But if you're in a little bit of a hurry to submit a question and you fire a question into a Google machine to find the answer, make sure you're aware of the date of the article you pull up. Because if it's an old article, can't really stump us off of a DQ. I mean, you can, but you can't really stump the champs off a DQ. Because like Beef said, ties go to the champ, and you can't win a belt or stump the champs on a tie. In any case, let's just go ahead and move into the meat and taters of the podcast. We've got Tiger Bomb Tom, we've got Beef the Legend, we've got me, the Dum Dum of Ages. Poot is not with us again this evening. He may pop on, he might not. Odds are on not popping in. Poot needs a little bit of rest and relaxation, which we all need from time to time. So, Poot is going to enjoy a much-needed, resting, relaxing, non-confrontational, non-scream fighting night away from us, which is okay. But, speaking of screaming and fighting and bickering and bits and bobs and billy bows, somebody who wants to talk about wrestling, take it away.
I got it.
Oh, dear.
So much like trying to win a title off of us, win an appearance on the show of shows here. Yeah. Let's, a little bit of pomp and circumstance with it. Why not? I'm not
I
gonna.
got you. Fluff it up. It's fine. No, I got you.
Let's not punch down on ourselves here.
Well, I'm self-deprecating, so I have to.
Yeah, I get. But there was some championship activity Tuesday night on NXT, and holy shit, by golly, we got ourselves a new NXT Women's Champion in Lyra Valkyria, and
I don't know who that is. Who is that?
she's somebody that I'm not sure when she came along in the whatever iteration of NXT. I want to say she came along after the tie-dye puke job. Beef might
She
have
came
to...
over as part. She came over as part of NXT UK.
There you go.
She was starting to get a little bit of a groundswell there, and then they they edited that and brought her over as part of that whole shebang.
Yeah. So she had herself a nice little matchup against Becky Lynch. Crowd was really into it. Had quite a few "This is awesome" chants going on, a couple "Holy shit" chants going on, and it was a good match overall. If you get a chance to go back and watch it, check it out. That was, I believe, just night 1, week 1 of Halloween Havoc. So then, we'll have night 2 of Halloween Havoc on Tuesday. The whatever, is that the 31st? Yeah, I should know that.
It is.
It is Halloween night. Yes. So.
Okay, so that was Halloween Havoc. Okay.
Yeah.
So Becky
Part
dropped
1.
the belt to this lady.
She did. And
Valkyria.
Yeah. And
Lyra Valkyria. Yeah.
Lyra Valkyria.
Yeah, sounds right. Yep.
Yeah.
So we did talk about, Becky going down to NXT and winning the NXT title.
Correct.
What's the feeling on Becky Lynch dropping the belt to this lady?
I mean,
that's great.
It's good.
It's fucking welcomed. Absolutely.
I'm not upset with it, but I think I don't know if a lot of other people. I myself, I was shocked. And unfortunately, I had it spoiled for me by social media, the day after it happened. Well, yeah, I mean, just scrolling through.
Yeah, I mean,
Instagram.
whenever you follow. Yeah, whenever you follow fucking NXT or whatever, and their post an hour after the show is a picture of Lyra with the fucking title, it's like, oh, okay. There you go.
Things happened. No, I mean, I was shocked that it happened. I'm not upset by it by any means. I just thought that maybe they were gonna let Becky's run continue a little bit longer. I guess I was unaware of how much of a groundswell or how much they thought of Lyra, and good on her. One thing that I did enjoy in their build up to this, was Lyra talking about how she had hoped to come into WWE or NXT or whatever in general into the WWE system and be the first Irish-born women's champion. She's like, and you took that away from me. And I'm like, oh, okay. And I thought they were gonna kind of go with Lyra being more in a heel route sort of thing, but I don't know. They both seem kind of face. Regardless, it happened. It's cool. I'm here for it. I just hope they don't have her hot potato it to somebody else. I know.
I got some bad news for you.
Well, yeah, I know. I'm getting to that because also on night 1,
there's a storm coming.
Yeah, also on night 1 of Halloween Havoc, we saw Jade Cargill sitting there just kind of taking in the main event and everything. So she
not just sitting there, sitting in a throne.
Yeah, there's that. The thing with Jade, not to pivot too far away from NXT right off the bat, but the thing is with Jade is they've had her on every brand. So I mean, regardless, they are gonna set her up for success, regardless of where they put her. They're, I don't know if maybe they're I don't know if maybe they're just kind of getting it out there as in like, hey, look who came from the competition that isn't competition, by the way, but look who came from our competition over to this side, and everything like that. I don't know. But before I know we're gonna get on some Jade talk. Um, the other thing I was really happy with night one of Halloween Havoc, was not Brian Pillman Jr. He's now
Lexus King.
Lexus King. When he came out basically kind of on a throne as well, and he kind of has this like 80s rocker look vibe going on, which I dig it. But he came out, and like when he was coming down from the down the rampway, he looked in the camera and he said, "Brian Pillman is dead. Long live Lexus King." And I was like, okay, here we go. He had a good match too.
So I have some thoughts about NXT Halloween Havoc Part 1.
Yeah.
I thought it was fucking tremendous. I thought that it might be the best, like, free TV show wrestling this year. And that's including, like, the fucking return of The Rock on SmackDown. That's including, some of the spectacular stuff that AEW has done on free TV. I think Halloween Havoc Part 1 was absolutely everything you signed on for. Most important, I guess I won't say most important, but like super importantly, like the women rocked the house.
They did.
You had the semifinals of the NXT Women's Breakout Tournament. I think Kalani Jordan won, but I think that both those women, Ariana, I forget Ariana's last name. I think that they're both going to be staples.
Yeah, it was Kalani Jordan and Lola Vice are now going to be in the finals.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So like they had 2 spin the wheel make the deal matches, which were again tremendous with the women, and then obviously the main event with Becky dropping the title to Lyra. Fucking A, man. Like Tony Khan, and I hate, but I mean, I think that NXT and AEW are forever kind of the change at the hip. I think for better or for worse, and until one pulls ahead more dominantly, I think that they're going to be the two that are like combined. Raw's a fucking flagship. SmackDown's an institution. NXT is a new hot product. AEW is a new hot product. So I think that together they're going to be mentioned in the same breath. And for all Tony Khan's wizardry and creating great cards and great matches, he sucks at booking women. He just is not the greatest. Now, there's improvement. There is absolutely market improvement. The stuff with Tony Storm is tremendous.
Right.
And then you can't blame them about losing, Britt Baker, and you can't blame them about losing Jamie Hayter to injury. You can't blame them for losing Jake Cargill for money. Like
how was Britt injured? By the way, I missed that somewhere.
I'm not sure that she's injured. She may just not be being used, but when she's getting hot, she got injured.
Oh yeah.
You can't put that on them. But at the same time, it's like, man, when you have a full deck like this, you gotta start throwing straights out, or else you're gonna be looking silly. And I think that Shawn Michaels, with less talent, has put together a far deeper and better women's division on the back of Roxanne Perez, on the back of Tiffany Stratton, and now on the back of Lyra Valkyria. I think that these 3 ladies are, going to be the fucking face of NXT, and probably the face of the women's division here in a few years. So awesome job with Michaels booking that all together, and then obviously the tag team titles changed hands as well.
Yeah.
Chase U finally got their comeuppance, which is great, and I'm here for.
I was also really surprised by that one, and again, not upset by it. Just kind of shocked that because because you had Tony D'Angelo and is his Chase Stacks or what, or not Chase,
Channing
Channing
Stacks,
Stacks, yeah.
Channing Stacks Lorenzo.
Thank you, yeah. I was blanking on the name there for a minute and still hung up on Chase U. Yeah, it's they just won those titles not long ago. I wasn't expecting them to drop it. I was expecting them to have a nice healthy run. And and maybe eventually drop them like whenever one turns on the other or something, as you would expect in any mafioso family. But that notwithstanding, to go back to your point real quick, Beef, about the women. If you think about it, like NXT Night 1 of Halloween Havoc was predominantly female dominated. The opening match between Roxanne Perez and is it Kiana James? I think is her name.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Which, by the way, I just adore her for so many reasons.
I'm so upset that I missed that match. I blanked that NXT was coming on. I was like, ah. And of course, it was the fucking Roxanne Perez match. And of course, fucking Roxanne Perez came out dressed as Freddy. And I'm like, fuck.
Did you go back and watch it at least? I mean,
No, I didn't record it, so I might at some point whenever. Is it on Peacock? Does it keep catch up on Peacock?
Yeah, that's
okay.
that's how
Yeah,
I
then
catch up on,
because
I don't have cable, so that's how I catch up on mine with NXT. So
like yeah, I mean,
but yeah,
and I love the fucking the other thing I want to mention real quick is Scarlett and Shotzi
yeah,
working as a fucking tandem. The fucking outfit changes were brilliant. They were clicking together, and I'm like, wow, this is fucking everything. The pageantry, the fucking costumes, everything was great. I was a little upset that Becky, just came looking like the fucking man. Like, come on, man. Like, get with the theme here. Fucking Kalani Jordan came out of Spider Gwen. I'm like, oh, that's great.
yeah.
Like, so many great and inventive costumes.
Blair Davenport came out like Fred like Georgie from It with the yellow raincoat on and a balloon.
Yep.
Like it was everybody was pretty much on point. But yeah, it was like, again, the whole show
It was fun.
Yeah, predominantly female dominated and really just well done from top to bottom. I can't recall. I don't think there was. I think the only men's match was the tag team title match, if I'm not mistaken.
Lexus King's debut.
See,
which,
okay.
I would have gone a little stronger squash, but I get it. Like, nobody likes to watch squash matches. I'm not sold with his finisher, like the rope assisted crossroads.
Yeah.
I don't know, man. I don't.
I like the way he had the arms like kind of like hooked under, almost like you're like choking yourself out sort of thing with the DDT like that. It just felt like it took a really long time to pull the finisher off, and I'm thinking like, well, I would have reversed it by this point. like
you know what would have been a great finisher? A fucking pile driver. Like, have it, because you're right. Like, he had the fucking like 80s motif going. And like they've given the okay for pile drivers.
Have they?
I think if you want to make that, yeah, I think so. I think if you want to make that like his fucking finish, because nobody else is doing them. You never see pile drivers anymore.
Yeah,
like he's got that fucking 80s motif and.
Yeah, I wasn't sure if they gave the okay for them or not.
Obviously, his dad's flying Brian, so like you have a very big fucking throwback there. I would love something like a fucking pile driver. I think that would be an incredible fucking finish.
I wouldn't even mind the
done well.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't even mind like starting into the finisher that he used, but having it be like having it a lift up almost like an execution type DDT, or like like the paradigm shift or something like that, or whatever, like something like that. But it seemed like it took forever to do that, and then to get to the ropes, whatever. I don't know. It just it took like a really, really long time. But
I'm saying they may still be workshopping it.
Yeah.
I'm fine with that. That's what NXT is for.
And I'm trying to think for the. I mean, because I've seen him in IWC. couple of times. And actually, the last time I did see him was whenever I was up in Clearfield with Poot and Andy. And I can't, for the life of me, I can't recall what his finisher was that he was using on the Indies, or whenever he was in AEW or whatever. So that's, I don't know.
You know why? You know why? Because he didn't win matches in AEW, and that was a big takeaway that I have here.
Hmm.
Brian Pillman Jr. had the pedigree, man. And him and oh boy, what was the other guy's name from the fucking varsity club, or whatever the hell they were?
Leaf, something Garrison. I can't
Griff
remember.
Garrison.
Griff Garrison. There we go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Hashtag who the fuck is
so
Griff Garrison?
right. And Julia Hart, obviously became the star of that group.
Yeah.
So he mired in AEW for fucking ever. They went through Cincinnati a couple times, his hometown. They got him on the card. They couldn't make it work. He comes out on NXT on night fucking one, and feels like a superstar. Like, I get it. Like, absolutely, Sean H. They're like sitting there. They're going, okay, this kid and Jade, we have to make them look like fucking superstars to make people go, what the hell were they doing in AEW with them?
Yeah.
But at the same time, what the hell were they doing I mean, Jade obviously was a star, but like, what the hell in AEW? This kid looks like $1 million here.
Yeah.
And again, I know it's one match, but I mean, come on. Like,
Well,
just his presentation and how they treated him. Yeah. Like,
even
I'm sold on Lexus King.
even when they were bringing him in, I'm going to get Ransom's opinion here in a second. Like, whenever they first started doing the vignettes, they at first, like, we got the first one and it was like, oh shit, we're going to get Brian Pillman Jr. in NXT. But then it switched very quickly to him having this, I'm not just my father's son sort of thing or whatever, and he's dead. Everybody said how they loved him. Well, I never knew him, and the only thing I know is that he loved wrestling, but it took him away from me. Like, I never got to have him, and it's kind of all. And then they flipped that switch and went the heel route with it, and I'm here for it. But it was very interesting, I think, how they could have gone with it compared to how they did go with it. Did you see any of the have you seen any of the vignettes or anything like that, Ransom, or anything, like what's your take on
No.
No?
I haven't seen any of it. And I also know how Poot feels now.
Sorry.
Dear God, take a fucking breath. I don't like it. I don't like the name Lexus King. I don't like it. Just like I didn't like Curtis Axel. I don't like it. When you have children of famous Hall of Fame worthy wrestlers, why change it to something else? That's like bringing Randy Orton in, and instead of calling him Randy Orton, they call him Marcus Jones. What? He's the son of Bob Orton. Like, that's a legacy thing. Haha, I get it. Legacy. Yeah, legacy. but it is. That's why Cody Rhodes didn't come in as, like Cody Jones. It doesn't make any sense. If you're the son of an unknown wrestler, like, sorry, no shade. Nope. I mean, it's going to sound shade, but like, fuck it, shade. If you're the son of Trevor Murdoch, okay. You got a lot of big pedigree there? I mean, not really. Maybe if you go into the NWA, like, sure. You're the son of Ryback and you come in as a wrestler, nobody fucking cares. But when you're the son of Mr. Perfect, like, book that shit. Kurt Hennig, the son of Kurt Hennig Jr. Dear God. Like, book him. You don't have to give him the same gimmick. You don't have to give him the same angle. Randy Orton didn't have the same gimmick as Cowboy Bob Orton. Randy Orton never came out in a cowboy hat. He didn't come out wearing a cast. He was his own person, but he carried that family lineage. Like Beef even said it when he was talking about Lexus King. He has the pedigree. He's got the pedigree of Brian Pillman. Use the name. Don't book him the same way. You're not trying to recreate a character. You're not trying to recreate a wrestler. You don't have to book him the same way that you booked Brian Pillman. But he has the blood in him. He has the lineage. Let them use it. I don't like it. And I'm not here for it.
So let me come at that with an argument.
By all
I
means.
understand your point. Absolutely. Absolutely, you're 100% correct. They need to capitalize on it. And I think that they are capitalizing on it. They're not shying away from the fact that this is Pillman's kid. That's not being disputed. They're not like
No,
hiding
they
the
didn't
fact.
either with Curtis Axel. They did the whole thing with
Exactly.
him. Didn't shy away from it,
Exactly.
but still stupid.
But Curtis Axel was mid as fuck. Ted DiBiase was mid as fuck. You have legends like Mr. Perfect and Ted DiBiase Sr. You come out and you're mid as fuck. Guess what? That shadow is 1,000,000 feet tall. You ain't never getting out of it. With a guy like Pillman or the Usos, Solo, these guys are not picking up their family name, but the family lineage is not being disputed. The difference is they don't have to live up to being Brian Pillman. They don't have to live up to being Flying Brian. They don't have to live up to being Rikishi. They can be their own person. Another great example, David Hart Smith. They're like, this is the son of the British Bulldog, Davy Boy Smith, David Hart Smith. And they fucking treat him like the British Bulldog, which is what he was not. They did everything but give him fucking white boy dreadlocks with like the blue and red beads like the Bulldog had.
Oh god.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Like, don't treat them the same. They're not. They're different people. Keep the
But
family name, though. Keep the lineage.
But regardless, you're gonna have people that are like, so if they were like, fucking Jimmy and Jay Rikishi, fucking part-time fans, jagoffs, fucking slack-jawed yokels are gonna be like, oh, they're Rikishi's kids? Why aren't they doing the stink face? I don't understand it. And like, that's all it's gonna be. Whereas they can be the Usos and they can be their own fucking people. Flying Brian, Brian Pillman. Oh, what doesn't do more aerial moves like his dad, Flying Brian Pillman? Why isn't he a loose cannon like Flying Brian Pillman was? Like, all right, like, okay.
Well, the
And
same
I hear
argument
what
can
you're
be said
saying.
about Randy Orton, though. Like, well, here they call it. He's Randy Orton. He's the son of Bob Orton. Why doesn't he come out with a cowboy hat and a cast on? Not one fucking person ever asked that.
Right, but Randy Orton never had a chance at being mid. Just like the fucking Rock. He never had a fucking shot at being mid. He was gonna be a star from the fucking word go. And again, I'm not saying that Brian Pillman Jr. doesn't. I'm saying that Lexus King gives him a better shot at being a star than trying to move out of his father's legacy.
I thought you were
All
gonna
puns intended.
I thought you were gonna come at it from a different angle of maybe he doesn't want to use his real name, or WWE, for a while now, since after, John Cena and Kurt Angle, and and we'll just say Randy Orton, whatever. Like, look at the shit that Cody Rhodes went through with him trying to fight to be able to use the last name of Rhodes after he left WWE. Like, there maybe that was something coming in that I don't know if they made him do it or if that was his choice. Because on the indies and everything, Brian Pillman Jr., all well and fine. Like, he could go wherever the hell he wants and use that name in IWC and use that name in fucking Poughkeepsie, fucking bumfuck nowhere, whatever. That's fine. But once you get into the WWE, like, that's a whole nother different animal. Like, I mean, even with John Cena, even though that's his real name, like technically, WWE like owns his name in a sense. You know what I mean? So like maybe that was kind of on that maybe that was on Pillman Jr.'s part, him approaching it, going, okay, you know, I'm gonna come into this and we're gonna see how things go. But if things don't work out, at least if I leave, I can still be Brian Pillman Jr. at the end of the day and not have to fucking find an entire different identity to go with. I can have something that I've already established and, you know, on the indies, in AEW, outside of the WWE machine, and I have that I can hang my hat on at the end of the day.
Absolutely.
Which
And like I said, man, you know,
which I'm surprised with Jade Cargill that, you know, they're not calling her something different, but I don't know, maybe that was, you know,
I have no idea.
yeah.
When they were putting the marketing out for Jade Cargill, that Tony was like, all right, we're putting all this money behind it. Let's make sure we're fucking protecting this name. Nope. And maybe, you know, maybe Tony isn't trying to be a dick. But spoiler alert, uh nice guys finish last. Like dicks win in business because that's what you have to be. So you can be the nicest guy in the world, but look what Jade Cargill did. She took that fucking bag, man. She was like, I appreciate it, Tony, but I want to go be a WrestleMania superstar and get paid.
Now,
And here's this, all this fucking money. Imagine a similar, Tom, cover your ears, a similar experience with Goldberg. Like, WWE put all this fucking money behind him and everything, right? And imagine, you know, he loses, whatever. 2 years later, goes to WWE and appears as Bill Goldberg. It's like, how? They didn't. You know why? Because Turner has big pockets. But, like, also, he had a smart legal team. I honestly think, in a lot of ways, Tony Khan is spread a little bit too thin. And he has a lot of his interests diversified between the Jaguars, between his football team that he owns in the UK, you know, between AEW and other Ring of Honor. His other interest, cocaine. Kidding. Like he has things that are not getting him all over the place. Vince McMahon ate, drank, sweat, bled, slept for 2 hours a night. WWF and then WWE. That's the difference. You know, and again, I'm not sitting here saying that Tony is a bad booker. I'm saying that there are definitely different styles, different management styles I've noticed, and that Tony Khan's a lot softer. For better, for worse. Like I bet you the boys love that. Oh my goodness!
I thought fucking Mankind was coming.
I try not to fucking react to that shit because you know, like I hate to fucking, but I mean I literally thought someone was fucking drifting into Ransom's house.
Yeah, I thought I'm again. We've come to expect the many noises of Mordor, but it sounded like that was, you know, It sounded like Mick Foley's fucking video entrance on the Titantron. I
didn't want
ready.
to poot it. Like I did my best not to fucking make a poot spectacle of it. Like, oh my god! But like it was jarring. It was that one in particular was fucking jarring. That I'm like, Jesus.
I thought.
See, that shows just how used to it I am. Like, I didn't even think about it until people was like, "Jeez!" I'm like, "Oh, it's because of the tire screeches." Like,
Yeah.
I didn't even have a second thought. I didn't have a second.
Like,
I mean,
I
get what you're saying, Beef.
I had no idea
about
that
the
certain
names.
doom was hurtling toward me.
It always is. I get your point to an extent. I do. I just I don't know. Like, you never know when someone is going to be a star and when they're not. Like, tell me, like, forget what you know about The Rock 2023. Forget what you know about him. Go back and look at him when he was Rocky Maivia with the Samoan garb coming out, with that stuff hanging off him, with all the curly hair, slapping hands, flailing his arms, being all rowdy and hulking up in the ring and yada yada.
The blue chipper, yeah.
The blue chipper. Like, you watch that for a few months and tell me, like, you knew immediately that guy was going to be a star. Because I don't think you would have. I don't know that anybody would have. He kind of reinvented himself from Rocky Maivia into The Rock. But going back and looking, Rocky Maivia, I don't know anybody, like, casual fan-wise that would have looked at that, or even like hardcore fan-wise would have looked at those first few months and gone, man, this guy is going to be the absolute face. He's going to be all the money. No, I don't believe it. I don't believe it in the slightest. So
I agree, but the people in charge did, and they treated him as such. He was on the exact same trajectory as Randy Orton. The difference is that Randy Orton was doing it as a heel. The Rock was trying to do it as a face, and the fans are like, "Nope, we don't buy it."
So that's another point. The people in the back treated him as such. Mm-hmm. If the people in the back would have treated Curtis Axel, they would have called him Kurt Hennig Jr., whatever. And if they would have treated him like a big deal, if they would have treated him like his father was Mr. Perfect, if they would have booked him to be not Mr. Perfect, but to be a big deal, we don't know that things would have been different.
I mean, they gave him Paul Heyman. Like, I don't.
They gave Ryback Paul Heyman as well. So
yeah.
But, like,
fair.
You can, like, when you book somebody and you treat them as a mid-carder, well, they're starting at a deficit. They're not, it doesn't sound like they're doing that with this Lexus King. It sounds like they're treating him like a big deal, which maybe things would have been different if they treated Curtis Axel like a big deal instead of really kind of giving him a couple of poo-poo things and then, oh, he's a mid-card guy. Well, is he though? Or did you give him a shot? Did you give him a chance? I mean, you gave him Paul Heyman, yeah, but you gave him Paul Heyman and then you still booked him like a mid-carder. Like, they didn't book him and treat him like a big deal. And if you know someone is going to be a big deal, like if they can see that and they treat them as such, they can use the name of their lineage and not have to worry about them fighting out of their shadow if they're already going to treat them like a big deal. Like, I see what you're saying about, like, well, they're always going to be in that shadow. Sure, but if they're a big deal and they're a big star, they'll surpass that shadow in an instant. They'll be the shadow.
I just feel like it's setting them up for success. I just feel like being named after your father, especially in wrestling, like, you have a huge thing to overcome. Because everybody's gonna look at you and go, well, he's not his dad. Even if he's better than his dad, they're gonna say he's not his dad. That's what happened with The Rock, man.
Not necessarily.
That's what happened with Rocky Maivia. People looked at him and goes, well, he's good, but he's no fucking high chief.
Yeah, but
he's not Rocky Johnson.
It also depends on who their dad is. Now, like, in the case of Beef and Ransom's favorite wrestler, female wrestler, Charlotte Flair, yeah. Your dad's Ric Flair. His name is synonymous with wrestling. You ask any non-wrestling fan who Ric Flair is, and they probably know. But I don't ever.
From his energy drinks and his insurance.
Yeah, but I don't ever recall anybody saying about Bray Wyatt, well, he's no IRS, but dot.
But that's another side of the same argument, though. Like with the Usos.
Yeah,
they no one ever tried to hide the fact that they were Rikishi's kids. And they flourished. Would they have done worse? If they were Jimmy and Jay Fatu, probably not. I don't think that they would have done any worse because they didn't try to hide the fact that they were Rikishi's kids. So saying like, well, you can't call them Fatu or whatever because then they'll be like, well, where's the stink face? Where's the stink face? They never made any sort of attempt to hide the fact that they were the sons of Rikishi, and still no one clamored for the stink face. No
See,
one was like, well, the Rikishi's kids, so where's the stink face? Where's the dancing? Where's the sunglasses? Where's Too Cool? No one ever said anything like that. And everybody knew.
I don't
So,
recall. When they were coming up and really becoming big, I don't remember them saying much about them being Rikishi's kids, if at all. I don't even think. I mean, I'm sure I probably knew in some facet, but like my brain didn't do the mental math until they really became like, fucking tag team royalty. That's when they kind of started leaning on it, and I'm like, okay, yeah, that makes sense. And then you go back and you watch fucking like cleaning up the streets, fucking Rikishi, Fatu, before he was Rikishi, like and you see fucking Jey Uso like all the way. So like again, like I'm not saying that they hit it or anything. I feel like I don't know, like it wasn't as big of a deal. And again, like here's the other thing. I think that they are not only not trying to hide Pillman's past, but they're like embracing it, saying, "Okay, like yes, I am Brian Pillman's kid, but I'm gonna make my own fucking mark." Now, whether or not they do that with the main roster, assuming he gets there, it's another story. I absolutely would lean on that. I'd be like, you know what, like my dad was awesome, or even the route they're going, like my dad was a real piece of shit, but he was great in the ring, and that's where I got this from. Something like that. Um, and yeah, I mean, honestly, like I think we're both right here. I think nobody wins that because there are merits and flaws associated with both those things. It can be an absolute boon, but it could also be the fucking albatross around your neck that turns you into a fucking used car salesman that eventually embezzles a lot of money and goes to jail for a while.
damn.
And which one is that?
That would be the son of the so-called $1 million man, wishes he was $1 million. The attempted like several $100,000 man who's going to jail.
I thought I didn't realize he was a used car salesman. I thought he was like a youth camp fucking director or something like that.
No, yeah, he was. As far as I know, he was selling cars for a while, and then yeah, apparently there was that big fucking like embezzling thing that happened
Oh,
from the last
joy.
year, and him and his brother are both fucking going to jail for a long ass time.
Oh boy. Yeah, it's again, it depends on whose shadow you're living in. It's
And you
it's
know why? Because not everybody has a price.
but everybody's gonna
If-
pay.
Tom,
Yes.
damn it.
Tom. All right. So yeah, but yeah, man. Again, like going back, NXT Halloween Havoc, week 1, awesome. It's created a big thing for a big shadow, if you will, for NXT Halloween Havoc week 2 to live up to. And with Mello versus
Dragonoff.
Dragunov being on the card, I'm sure it's going to be great. Um, I'll say this: I didn't expect the title changes, but they didn't shock me because NXT's kind of riding a high wave right now. Like they beat they beat AEW in their ratings, and they're trying to keep those eyeballs. And nothing keeps eyeballs on a screen like a title change, man.
Well, I'm glad you brought that back up because I wanted to ask that like way back when you were talking about the women's title change, but then War and Peace happened and I couldn't get a word in. What happens with Becky Lynch? Does she stay in NXT or is she done now? Do you think she's done in NXT and like that was her little ride down there? Now she's main roster bound and we won't see her down there anymore.
I
don't know, man.
Yeah, I don't know. She's kind of maybe she's gonna take a little hiatus. I don't know.
That's what I was thinking. Maybe she's gonna go be a mom for a bit.
I mean, and again, nothing wrong with that if she chooses to do that. Like,
I just feel like there's nowhere for her, and that's terrible because this is fucking Becky Lynch. This is the woman who was so hot she had to main event WrestleMania, like back when WrestleMania was only one night, like, and there weren't two different main events, and before they were billing everything as one of the 515 main events of WrestleMania this year. No, she was the fucking main event, and she walked in. She walked out as the champion. She, fucking had the Austin pop. This is fucking Becky Lynch, who fucking revolutionized, I think, how the women's division was handled. And now we're like, where did she fit? Which is fair. Like, I don't want her, I think that Raw's women's division is in a great place right now. Nia Jax notwithstanding. Like,
God damn it,
fucking
you should have warned me.
Shayna. Fucking Shayna, fucking Rhea, Raquel Gonzalez, like they're all pretty good, minus Nia. And then
Always.
on SmackDown,
Always mine.
you have, fucking Asuka, you have the champ EO, Bailey, Dakota whenever she gets healthy, if she gets healthy. You have a decent breadth of women. Oh, I forgot Charlotte. Silly me. And like
How
no
dare you.
shortage. I know, right? No shortage of like angles and storylines. I just don't know where the man fits in.
Yeah, I mean,
If she fits in.
if she were to stay down in NXT, then the title change is even more shocking because again, like I thought she was still going to be down there for a little bit and not this, quick cup of coffee that it has been thus far. I mean, maybe she will. I don't know. Maybe I don't know. It's I hate to
Possible.
Go ahead.
No, I was gonna say it's possible that she does something other than hold the title in NXT too. I'll be the fucking first to say that I'm gonna swallow my pride and admit when I was wrong. I thought they made a huge mistake taking the title off of Roxanne Perez when they did, and she has flourished without the title. She has proven that she does not need the title to be exciting, and have an angle around her, which
Yes.
I think is like the thing with AEW. Like the only angle in women's division are around the titles. Roxanne has shown, hey, you know what? I don't need the title because I'm a bona fide badass. I'm great at what I fucking do, and let's make some magic. I think that we're gonna see the same from Tiffany Stratton. I think that she's gonna have a really good footprint without the belt. So, does Becky do something without the belt in NXT? I think that'd be cool. I think that'd be cool.
I mean, I'm here for it. Again, there's a multitude of ways that they could use her, and the easiest answer is to say to be determined. But I don't know. There's some other things that need addressed since we did start bringing AEW into the conversation, but I want to save that for the second episode. I think this might be a nice little put a little bow on this one and wrap it up. Ransom, would you like to give us a burrito this week?
There's no point. I can't outdo Poot. But sponsors, do more for us. First of all, because what have you done for me lately? Their links are in the description. Even though, I mean, what are they doing? What's Sean Teschel doing for us? Nothing. Who's the other clown that's a sponsor? Oh yeah, Casual Gaming Dad. What have you done for me lately? Nothing. Poot the Bard. I mean, you're not even here, so what are you doing for us as a sponsor? That jackass Ransom, he hasn't posted a video in fucking 2.5 years.
Nailed it.
What good of a sponsor are you? You're all you're all the worst. And, step your game up. Links in the description. Next episode, listen to it then and shut it off.